Danger.
Welcome in, Alcaturites. Welcome to another Alcatura video, the first of our Prehistoric Planet review series I've been waiting on so desperately for. I know this one's a little late, but we're going to get it out anyways, and then we'll get right into the second one here real soon, because that episode has already been released. The first episode is called Coast, and I would show you snippets of it, but looks like whatever my stuff I use can't take snapshots of Apple. Because it looks like they have some blocking software on that, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure out another way down the road. So I guess this will do some overview talk on it. It opens up with a introduction from Richard Attenborough. Pretty cool that. And then we jump right into a T-Rex. They ripped that band and said, here's a T-Rex right off the bat. Giving us a T-Rex swimming in the inland ocean that existed between the east and western United States, splitting the country obviously in two if you know your Cretaceous period history. So the T-Rex is a father with a brood of like 5, and they're swimming to a little offland island, showing it. So now we're getting a scene of a T-Rex doing something you don't typically think of. A T-Rex can swim. They actually go into science on why they believe it was possible, which is really cool. And there's even a bonus content video you can watch that even goes into more deeper of how they came up with that, where they theorize that based on the hollow bones, the strong legs, the fact that modern day huge animals like elephants and horses will swim across vast distances, as well as some other large birds like emus will have been seen swimming. So very cool thing. Then you get a cool shot of the T-Rex above the water with some giant sea turtles underneath him. They're obviously not archlons. They didn't exist during T-Rex, but it's another type of large turtle. So really cool to see that also being represented. Then of course, we get a mosasaur shows up, because you got to have the mosasaur T-Rex, and it's really cool because you get the T-Rex scoping it out. Mosasaur ends up picking off one of the kids, gets some easy snack, stays away from the big T-Rex. Another cool thing they bring up is they talk about how T-Rex would have a nest of like 15, and only like 1/3 of those would end up surviving, which a lot of times you always see in the, other documentaries or famous Hollywood movies, is a T-Rex would have like a small nest. There'd be the T-Rex parenting aspects has always been pretty well displayed, but it's always made it look like they had like a small batch of eggs. While we see from a lot of other stuff about other dinosaurs is the belief was mass babies equals best chances of having some of them survive. You have tons of babies, and only have a partial amount of them would make it to adulthood, like a sauropods. We've seen that in Walking with Dinosaurs and stuff like that. So it makes sense that this T-Rex would have like a brood of 15, and only maybe 1/3 of those would end up actually making it to adulthood. So very cool. So while they're on this island, is the sea turtles are coming up there to nest. And one thing I love to show an image of, but I can't, unfortunately, couldn't get it to work, is so the T-Rex was attracted there because he smelled a dead one. So just pretty much, T-Rex has great skills. It can hunt, powerful jaws, and it can smell from miles. And when the coolest thing is, it shows the T-Rex nudge under the turtle and flip it onto its back so it can get to the soft underbelly. That's demonstrating that the T-Rex had learned behavior, because it's just not going to randomly just think, oh, I can't bite that part, flip it over. So that says it's also showing intelligence in these animals. So it's showing that the T-Rex has a learned behavior of knowing I got to flip this turtle over to eat it. So I really like that. That was really cool. So happy they did that. And then it shows a little scene where you see in the little cut, the release trailer of the little baby T-Rex playing with the baby sea turtles. So good, nice little opening with the T-Rexes. You know, show everybody, boom, here's your T-Rex right off the bat. We're going to show you everyone's favorite dinosaur. From there, it transitions to a little sea turtle swimming in the water. Then we see a big sea turtle. And then they jump over. I'm going to have to pull this up because what I love about this is we get a lot of new types of dinosaurs and other reptiles in this. You know, species I've never even heard. Different versions of species that, you know, people aren't familiar with. So let's see. Our first jump after the T-Rex was, let's see, should be the pterosaurs. Yes, it was. It goes to North Africa for a area where there's a bunch of pterosaurs. So we got all these nesting pterosaurs. You have a bunch of them on like the seashore, and we get some really cool new species of those. So let's see what the dinosaurs. So I'm just getting the names here, so I gotta look at them so I can actually give them. Where are you at? We have the Tetradraco, which is shown. It's kind of almost looks a little pterodonish. It's shown with its protecting its nest because there's a bigger, deadlier pterosaurus stalking around trying to pick off chicks. That one was called the, not that one. Where was he at? The Phosphoradraco. Phosphoradraco. These names are pretty good. Then it cuts off. So it's got these guys herding on the shore with their nest. Then it cuts to these cliffs, rocks hanging just out into the water a little bit, where another type of pterosaur just lays their eggs there, leaves them, and just leaves them there. That one was the Alicine. Was it Alicine? And so this shows the babies hatch. They crawl to the very top of there, and then they all gather, wait for their bones to stiffen up so they can take their first flight. And their goal is to leave the cliff, go over where all the other pterosaurs are, and go into the forest. So they, because they're too small to, they gotta have safety in there. So while they're trying to make that flight to get there, their first flight, then we have another pterosaur that's coming in and picking them off in the air. That was the Barbadaclys, which is really cool because it's got these really long crest on its back. Like man, this crest was massive. So they're just doing this. It was really cool scene where they're doing like air attacks and just picking them off in midair. And then we actually see the other one, the stork one thing, eat one. And then we see, and then of course, then it shows a couple that make it to the forest. Really cool, really cool stuff. From there, we jump to a mother and a child of a type of elasmosaur. It was called some Pterygiosaurus. Yeah, Pterygiosaurus. So it shows them, and they're making this voyage to where this waterfall is, and it's showing that they're looking for smooth round rocks to swallow to like help in their stomach, help break as a gizzard and break down food, also to help them with swimming. And she's teaching the young one, her calf, how to to eat the rocks, how to swallow rocks, and then she goes and then she has a little mating ritual between them. So it's really cool, new type. So they give us a new type of long neck sea reptile there. Type, like I said, it was a type of, instead of doing with the normal plesiosaur or elasmosaur, which I love plesiosaurs, don't get me wrong. So we get a new species of those. So that was super cool. So that scene was, so I really love that. That was really cool. So I'll show you some different. So we're getting some cool behaviors here. We see the swimming, the flipping of that. Then you get like the hatchlings trying to run for safety. You've seen that in documentaries before. But then we get like so we get these type of elasmosaurs swallowing the rocks. More natural animal behavior, not just the great fight and kill. We do get some of that, so don't get me wrong. But it's cool seeing some new stuff. From there, I believe, is where we go to a Hoffman's mosasaur. Showing they make it look like it's trying to hunt this itty bitty tiny fish, and it does something really cool that you see whales and sharks do. It goes to this coral reef spot and it just plops itself down, opens its mouth, and it's letting these cleaner fish come in and clean between its teeth and cleaning its dead scales and any barnacles and stuff like that off of its skin. So it's like this real cool scene of it rolling around, letting them, you know, clean it and everything like that. So, you know, realistic, you know, makes sense. That would be something, you know, we see in today's animal kingdom. Then you just gotta see him just hanging his head out of the water, just breathing air. All of a sudden, it gets attacked by a younger mosasaur that's trying to get its territory, and we get this epic mosasaur fight. And this was pretty. And this fight scene, this fight was pretty freaking epic. It was really cool. So they're jostling for position. The younger one's obviously a little quicker, a little more nimble than the older male. Then it gets to the point where the older male is able to get up, get a quick breath in, and grab the attacker and drag him into the depths to try and, you know, make him run out of oxygen. He then takes off. That one takes off, gets away and takes away off, and our cleaner, I don't know how to refer it, the original mosasaur, you know, keeps its territory. So that was a really cool mosasaur fight. So it was really cool. I liked how they start with the sea animals in this one. So that was really nifty. And get you some pterosaur action, as well as you throw in that T-Rex in there. T-Rex was the only actual dinosaur in this one. Yeah, T-Rex was the only actual dinosaur in the episode. So you got that right off the bat. Let's see. And then do we go back to the... And then the only two things... So we only get these one little cutaway scenes with these guys. So we go back to the Tyrannosaur after this. They're traveling to this special location for where fish are gathering. Our mother is falling with the calf. They're falling behind the group, so they're, you know, she's having some struggles keeping up and swimming. This draws the attention of another type of mosasaur, and this one's got a really cool name, the Kakifulu. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but that's pretty close to that. It's a really cool name, the Kakifulu. And the little calf is trying to attack it and get its attention, so it chases him and doesn't go after his mother. Meanwhile, you see another group of Tyrannosaurs coming back to the rescue, and they all kind of fend off this mosasaur. That's really cool because, you know, obviously they're bigger than the mosasaur's bigger than them, but they're all like kind of grouped together and like nipping at it and stuff like that. So they fend it and they chase it away. And then we find out the reason the mother is struggling is because she's giving birth. She gives live birth to a new pup, which is really cool because with the pup, so the live birth is a year and a half pregnancy, I believe it says something like that. So it shows that they have a long gestation rate and give live birth, and the calf is half the size of the adult. So that's probably one of the largest newborns you will see out in the animal kingdom. Because this thing came out pretty, 10 feet long. And they races up to the surface and get its air. And it pretty much says how this is a family pod, kind of like a killer whale kind of thing, where they're like it's like a pod of there's like a family of Tyrannosaurs that are all meeting up here for their species. So that was the only one that really had the double story arc. Like everybody else was kind of like a little segment. But it was done super well. The CGI is amazing on this. This stuff looks so good. It's unbelievable how good this turned out. New modern CGI is amazing. Avatar's big kick was that it was like, new technology. Good luck on that sequel, guys, because this is just made dinosaurs look like real animals and marine reptiles. And so we really get cool. Like you got I forgot the term. I work in an aquarium and I forgot counter shading. Counter shading on the bottom of the mosasaur. It's got some brighter skin on the top. They mentioned that during the mating system it would flash the colors more on the back, so to attract mates. So there was some really cool, interesting science. Some of the stuff. I'd have to do some research to see how accurate some of this was. Like they said, they have a little thing at the end that goes into why they believe the T-Rex was a good swimmer and why they believe it was possible for it to swim, which was really cool. Really cool how... Oh, one scene I did forget is there was a scene at night with some Animites all coming up from the deep, and they're doing bioluminescence and glowing and attracting mates. And this really cool scene where like the male and the female would connect, and then they would like flash their lights back and forth, and they would synchronize them together, and that's how they would make their full connection. Then they'd give birth, and die. So, I mean, you know, we do know a lot of animals relative to those do like some bioluminescent stuff, so plausible. So I guess it's basing it off of their modern day relatives. I don't know if we have any science to kind of say that. I guess we found. So I guess the pebbles in the stomach could probably have some. There's probably some fossil evidence that have rocks in their stomachs. So that's probably that one's not that far fetched. Pterosaurs to defeat nesting hobbits. It's not that implausible either. It's really cool because the pterosaurs actually they did like the wings right on these things. Everybody always kind of has them walking on the ground the wrong way. They actually had them right, so they got the science of them walking down correctly. And so I was like, so far so good. Very, very. I mean, this is off to a great start. Can't wait to watch the second episode, which should be out right now. So probably as soon as I get done making this video, I'm probably gonna go watch that. So I'm very, very impressed. This has been definitely worth the wait. I've been excited for this. So, yeah. So probably won't want to keep this under 20. So yeah, it's very. If you haven't watched it, get Apple TV and watch this. This is really amazing stuff. This is, I mean, our modern updated. Walking with Dinosaurs was always like the big one of dinosaur documentaries. This is going to be the new Walking with Dinosaurs. It's super well done, and they're like really using really cool new things, and they're actually like trying to show you some like aspects of the animal life besides like the normal T-Rex are going to fight the Triceratops and going to kill the Triceratops, and the Deinonychuses are going to hunt and kill this guy, and so they're actually I mean, yeah, there were some fights. We saw a baby T-Rex get. Is that the? And we saw a baby T-Rex. Some baby pterosaurs get killed. Animates mated and died, so that's not really death there. There was a dead turtle, but I was already dead. So you don't really get that many. I mean, you got a couple fight scenes. There were a couple like territorial fight. Then we had the protecting the mother, protecting one of your groups. So some other stuff that you typically don't get too much of. A lot of dinosaur documentaries just do like these guys are going to fight to the death. So you get some real animal. They really look into the animal life aspects of it. So it was very, very cool. Super impressed with it. Super happy with it. Check it out, guys. Get your Apple TV and help make this be a hit. Hopefully we can get them to make a sequel. Until then, is Cachorro out. Peace.